Today's Morphin Network video is sponsored by Ranger Stop and Pop, which is now August the 27th to the 29th, 2021 in Atlanta, Georgia. And Ranger Stop Convention, which is now November 11th to the 14th, 2021 in Orlando, Florida. Go to rangerstop.com for more info.
Oh, I can't see a thing. Hello? Anyone?
Are you sure the Rangers said to meet here?
Oh, man! Did someone mess up again?
Surprise!
Thank you, Beast Bots.
You're our best friends.
Gee whiz! That's really something!
So, Mr. Skilton, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well, thank you. Yeah, I'm sitting here in quarantine, day 2 of my quarantine here in New Zealand. I just got back from shooting something in Brisbane. So, yeah, welcome to my home office. All of a sudden, bed. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good. We're doing fine. Staying safe, staying healthy. Yeah,
Nice.
it's cold here in LA, so.
And it's freezing here in Missouri. This is actually snow behind me.
Well, I won't tell you how hot it is here, considering I'm wearing a t-shirt and shorts right now.
So, hello everyone. Welcome to a very special interview of the Morphin Network. We have veteran Power Rangers voice actor Emmett Skilton. Hello.
Hello.
You guys don't remember? You guys don't know? He is the voice of Jack from Power Rangers Beast Morphers, the little buddy Playboy, or I mean Beast Bots. I see Beast Morphers. Yeah, sorry, I can remember Go Busters.
Red Wolf.
Oh, Red Bull, yeah. He was the voice of Red Bull. So sorry, I got stuck. Okay, and Professor Strickler. I actually remember this because I actually liked that card. And of course, Staberus. Yeah.
Quite a vicious looking monster. Oh, by the way, we were talking about this before we went live about, Jax has an action figure, and I do believe this character had one too.
Really? I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I think it's impossible to find it nowadays, but
Yeah.
So, Emmett, can you tell us how you got started acting?
How I got started with acting? Yeah. Well, I guess I've always been into entertaining people, making people laugh, and that started at a really young age, even before primary school, which is like 5 years old here in New Zealand. And it slowly developed into being part of like theatre shows or little. At my high school, they called them multicultural concerts, which were putting on various performances of various kinds. So I was involved in kapahaka, which is traditional Māori dance in New Zealand, and involved in theatre shows. When I was 14, we did The Wizard of Oz at school, that kind of stuff. And I also grew up watching film non-stop, things like Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls, things like that, and got really, really into the larger-than-life characters. And that's also how I ended up doing some voice work as well, because I love imitating people and going above and beyond when it comes to playing with character voices and character accents. Yeah, and then it just kind of steamrolled from there into working in film and TV around 15 onwards, I started working on TV in New Zealand.
Why did you decide to go into voice acting?
Well, like I said, I love doing voices. I didn't know there was really an avenue of it necessarily growing up. I knew it existed. I knew people did cartoons, just didn't know that was a career path. And so in New Zealand, I do a lot of voiceover stuff for banks and for did some stuff for Mazda recently, selling cars. But through my voice agent was the opportunity to audition for Power Rangers. And that's when I first realized that there was a market for it in New Zealand, and an opportunity for us to be able to go and explore the other side of it, which is based solely on the sound you make as opposed to what you do with your face or your body. And that was fun, because something like Power Rangers, you can be as big. In fact, they encourage you to be as big as you can with that voice. You know, and then you watch it on screen, of course, how colorful and how crazy Power Rangers is. It fits perfectly. So it's actually got a great level of freedom being able to do that stuff.
Curious, did you have to drink lots of water while doing your voice sessions?
I always drink a lot of water. Yeah. It's kind of just I don't know, something I got in the habit of. But also one thing that's really good for voice is dairy. So, you know, drinking milk here and there, if you've got a throat that's dry. I don't usually eat a lot of dairy or stuff because I'm a vegan, but that's something that sometimes needs to be a necessity in order to be able to produce sound. The job that I was just doing in Brisbane involved a voice from basically a Cajun accent with a lot of vocal damage from a guy from Louisiana, Baton Rouge in Louisiana. So that one really took it out of me, and that required a lot of voice warm-ups and warm-downs.
Yes. Oh, before we continue, so, and one of our members says that your voice of Jax reminds him of Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito.
Yeah, he's like, hey guys, tell M. But his name's Larry. Let's say hi. He's actually working right now. He says,
hello.
Please tell M that I love him and he loves his voice as Jax, and please tell him that his voice sounds like Danny DeVito. Well,
thank you. I'll take that. Yeah. Danny DeVito is a little crazier than I was hoping for. Clint and I were talking earlier about the Joe Pesci influence on that. And basically the motivation around how we discovered Jax's voice was needed to be big and brash, but he's contained in this teeny tiny body. So his arrogance had to be present, and his New York swag, if you will, had to be present. But because he's such a little body, we're trying to push it to a little bit of a higher voice, you know, higher pitch. So when he's talking, he's kind of like that, you know what I'm saying? So I'll take Danny DeVito any day. That's awesome.
Awesome. So my next question is for you, Em. So you did talk about being Power Rangers. Now, can you tell us your experience while working for Power Rangers?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said earlier, man, it's so much fun to be put into a sound booth and told to be as big as you can be. And part of that as an actor on screen, you're quite often having to be a lot smaller than what's going on in your head. Whereas with this stuff, like, for example, Professor Strickler, it's not often you get the chance to play a British character on this show, right? But being able to walk into a booth and use inspirations, like Professor Strickler was inspired by my grandma's voice. So she actually came from Scotland when she was 6 years old to New Zealand, and she still had a voice that was Scottish influenced at the age of 80. And her pronunciation of things was very, very exact, right? So you add in the Power Rangers side of things with Professor Strickler, and then you end up with something like that, you know, adding in the monster. On what TV show would I ever get the chance to do that and see my body, you know? So having the chance to do that with my voice was just incredible fun. And the journey through Power Rangers, I know that some of the other guys have mentioned it to you, but we all audition for these roles, you know, these sounds, and it's sometimes they'll give you a brief of what they're after. Sometimes they'll go, here's the influence, or here's the look of the guy, and then you sort of have freedom to play with what you will. And Jim McLarty, who does the ADR for all this stuff, is fantastic. And he's the one that encourages you to go, hey, we're on Power Rangers. Have as much fun as you can. These guys are the bad guys, so have as much play anger or play fun or play annoyance as you want to, and then we'll just see what happens. So the process itself is one that I don't get the opportunity to do often like this, and have that much fun and collaboration with someone in the booth. If that answers your question at all.
It does.
There is quite a variety of voices and accents that go into Power Ranger monsters. This last season, we had a rhino monster with an English or Australian accent.
They're basically the same, right?
Sort of, yeah. But you kind of already answered this question already. Where did you find the voice for Jackson? Like we were talking, it's kind of like Joe Pesci and Danny DeVito. Can you say Joe Pesci's line from Home Alone 2, "May I do the thinking, please?" and Jax's voice?
You say, may I do the thinking, please?
Yeah.
Home Alone.
May I do the thinking, please?
Perfect.
My favorite one is obviously him going, funny? Funny how? How am I funny? Right? That's the kind of shit that I do for the warm-up with him. This is fun. Yeah.
Yeah, so was it the more Brooklyn accent or more New York accent we did, Jax?
We're pushing for Brooklyn. And one of the things that was encouraged was elongating words as long as you can. But then we're like, well, but then we've only got this certain amount of time to fit it into, because obviously we're recording our audio after everybody else, right? Mm-hmm. So you've got 6 seconds to get that sentence in, or you've got 2.5 seconds to get that word plus that emotion, that grunt in that carries that emotion before the next person talks. Mm-hmm. So it's a little bit of negotiation around that, but definitely pushing for the mafia world of gangsters. Yeah.
Did you ever meet Jackie or Zoe's actress?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So they were, I think 3 of them were in there, including Jackie, to do their own ADR. And I can't quite recall what she said, but she was surprised I was the tallest person in the room, considering I was playing the smallest person on the show. Yeah. So that was quite cool. And she's wonderful. She's fun. And I think all of those guys just had a ball making that show. You know, it's 9 months in New Zealand. It's one of the longest productions that you can do as an actor in New Zealand, bar one other one. And she came over to shoot that, and pre-COVID, of course, and clearly had a ball and made some incredible connections, I'm sure.
We all know that you actually voiced more than one monster in Power Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
So besides Jax, what monsters you voiced in Power Rangers that you had the most fun working on?
Well, there you go. So Stabarus was fun because we're looking for, he's a Swiss Army knife, right? He's literally a body made of nothing but knives. So he had to be a bad guy. He had to be a monster. And I also wanted him to have quite a piercing voice, which is where the Gilbert Gottfried part came in, right? So you end up with like dabbling to push his, we called it having a knife edge to his voice. So anytime that he was speaking, we wanted to make sure that it was like this, right? As well as still having as much gruff and guts to it, so that he was still quite punchy. I can't remember whether I gave any other options for that one, but that filming that was one of the more recording that was one of the more fun ones, because of course they had the body swaps as well. So there's the courtroom scene where I am mouthing Blue Ranger, I think it is, while trying to match his mouth with Stabarus's voice. You know, so, and you normally we don't have to do that because the monster's a big block of prosthetic, you know. But this one in particular, we had to actually sync someone's mouth, which was really, really fun to do. Yeah, and of course, Dreadwolf was awesome. Dreadwolf, that was the first time. Most of these monsters are really, really big anyway, but that was the first time that I was playing a character that had to address a big crowd. So that was quite fun playing him and looking to see whether there were moments where we could get elongating some of that sound as well, the same way a wolf does, you know, that kind of stuff. So yeah, that was really cool. And he also had quite quite a loose mouth while he was talking, which just added a whole different. That's quite a sound, but having a loose mouth was one element that I incorporated into him, just because he was such a big monster. You know, you could see that dude's freaking muscles, and he had to be as what's the word, large as I could make myself, if that makes sense, as rotund as I could make myself. Yeah.
Can you tell us your experience while filming the show Almighty Johnson?
Yes.
Of course, man. Almighty Johnson's. That was. So I was originally living in Wellington in New Zealand, right? And I auditioned for a show that was set in Auckland, around 4 brothers and a grandfather who found out they were Norse gods in New Zealand. The only bad downside was my character not only just wanted to party and have a great time at life, but when he found out that he was Odin, the Allfather, his powers were shit. So he immediately went into this entire world of being like, yeah, I'm a god with nothing to fucking show for it. So what was fantastic for me is I was entering into that show not knowing a lot about Norse mythology either. So while I was shooting that show, I was learning about Norse mythology as Axel, my character, learned about it. And honestly, one of the best shows I've ever shot. I'm still best friends with all my brothers and my grandfather, played by Ben Barrington, of course. And just the material that I got to work with as the lead on the show, there was a lot of content to shoot, and he went left, right, up, down in terms of the whole emotional spectrum and experiential spectrum. That it was a pretty incredible way to be introduced to the film industry on a job like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And of course the fandom aspect of it with Norse mythology. I've traveled all over the world to do either conventions or interviews and stuff with the show, so I'm damn grateful for it too. It's the thing that took me to the UK and then eventually settled in LA for sort of 3 years, all based on making that show. So I owe it a lot.
But yeah, I do love Almighty Johnson. I would watch it all the time in SYFY channel.
Yeah.
So I was like, yes.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, actually, in Brisbane, it was really big on Netflix. I mean, I know that it's sort of on Netflix in various places, but just being in Brisbane for the last 3 months, a lot of people kind of hitting me up about it and checking whether I was that guy, considering now I have facial hair. I was 21 when I started that one.
Yeah, it's quarantine facial hair, so
It's yeah.
Yeah.
Just being stuck on an island. That's it.
Yep.
So my next question for you, Emmett, is what film, besides of course Power Rangers and Almighty Johnson, what film, roles, or television projects you can say you had the most fun or have the most memorable experience?
Did you say normal?
Memorable.
Memorable.
Oh, memorable. Yeah, of course. Well, so when I play characters, if they're based on someone real, I will do as much research into that as I can. And one person in particular was a guy called Victor Lowndes, who I played in American Playboy for Amazon.
Shoot.
And that was really, really fun. So his role in the Playboy Enterprises was essentially, for a long time, he was second to Hugh Hefner, which created some tension, which is a wonderful storyline, of course.
Wait, you were in that courtroom team, were you? In Playboy?
Courtroom. I was in one of their courtrooms. I don't know whether it made it to the TV. I'm not 100%. I was in one, but I'm not sure whether it was the one that made it to TV. Oh, are you thinking of Making of the Mob?
Yes.
That's Making of the Mob. So that's another one. That's
there you go. There you go.
Quincy Incana, who was part of the Chicago Mob, which is another incredible role to play. He was just a little bit more. He was a nastier human. Not in the sense of he was a bad guy, but some of the actions that he took were kind of bad. So he was a little bit. He was still really fun to play, but he was less enjoyable to explore, is all I'd say. Really, really love his story and really, really love the research I did on him as well. But just a slightly different guy to Victor Lowndes, who created a lot of the he was integral in creating the Playboy clubs and taking Playboy clubs in the casinos to the UK, which is where he met his wife, all these kind of things. So being able to play literally a Playboy for however many, a month and a half, however long we shot it for, was incredibly fun. Yeah. And actually the show that I just finished doing in Brisbane was one of the best experiences I've had. And I had 4 months to prepare for the role, just because of the way that it all got shot. I got cast quite early in it. It's called Young Rock, which is the Dwayne Johnson life story comedy for NBC, which will be out on the 16th of February, actually. So you guys will be able to see it. The rest of us, we can't see any of that shit because we're not in the States, obviously. So we'll have to wait for it to stream. But that was really, really fun. I did a lot of research into this real life guy. I can't tell you who he is yet, but a lot of research into this guy and into his life and into his relationships and into what motivates and drives him. And it was truly a ball being on set and living that life. And that's the guy I was saying had a very, very specific accent from Louisiana.
Did you expect the Power Ranger franchise to be this big and to be lasting this long?
Well, here's the thing. We used to watch this when we were kids. We watched the first season. I remember it so well. And then it got banned from New Zealand TV because of the violence. So did I think it would last this long? No, because it turned up for us and then disappeared again. But I think you guys were saying 2013, 2003? When did it start in New Zealand? 2003?
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously being shot in New Zealand made part of that easier for New Zealanders to have access to it. So I started to watch it a little bit more then. But no, I never once thought it would last that long. You know, like, what is it? It's 28th season?
28th season right now.
Yep. It's incredible to think that something that, I mean, for us, was literally discarded from our country is now being shot here so successfully, and it's a global phenomenon. So, nope, I did not think it would last this long, and I love that it did, because, I mean, it's a ball to be part of.
And you're also forever etched in Ranger history, too, so...
Yeah!
Yeah, see? So, do you have any inspiring advice to any actor or actress that don't want to be in this industry?
Absolutely. I mean, the easiest way to be part of the industry is to make yourself part of the industry by making content, especially in this day and age.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many people trying to do the same thing, but not a lot of people are entirely willing to go at it 100%. And 100% involves, if you've got an idea, write it down. If you've got an idea for a story, film something. If you want to learn how to do something, look it up on YouTube or go to a drama class. You know, it's no longer this world where you go, I'm going to go to Hollywood and I'm going to make it. You know, you've actually got to carve your own future. And there's a lot of talented people out there that don't have the motivation or the encouragement, I suppose, around them to just get out and do it. So I would highly recommend that. I was fortunate enough to get jobs when I was younger, but that's also because I sought things like doing improvisation as part of a group. I was out there auditioning for the theatre show or trying to get an agent when I was 12 years old so that I could go and do acting work. You know, and I started out being an extra on sets, then a featured extra, then I eventually got roles. But every single job I did, I took the knowledge I learned from that and moved on to the next one, you know? So I think just start where you are now and build your way up by making your own content and being as much a part of other people's as you can be. That's what I'd say.
Good advice.
Great advice. Really good advice.
Mm-hmm.
Last question, Ken, before we go to comments for fans.
So do you have any upcoming projects you'd like to share?
Well, this one, Young Rock, is upcoming, but also my fiance and I, we're about 20 episodes into a series that we made called Millennium, which we have, at the moment it's exclusive to Instagram, but we're on the brink of expanding it into a longer form TV series. So that one's at Millennial Jenny, is the Instagram handle. But also watch this space for the next bigger stuff to come from there. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you for being part of this interview. Now we go to fan questions and some comments. Emmett, you ready for them?
Yeah.
So, Paradimish Massacre says, greetings from Mumbai, India.
Hello.
Aaron Gaves, sorry if I butchered your name. Hi, did you watch the episodes in which you voiced characters once they aired? Greetings.
Tried to watch some of them. It's a little bit harder to access the show from New Zealand. But of course, being in the booth, the voice recording booth, I see everything that I'm in because I'm voicing it. And quite often, Jim's really great. Jim McLarty, our ADR guy, he's really supportive of making sure we're telling the story right. So we'll watch the scene before it, or we'll watch the start of the episode to make sure that we're up to speed with why Jax is doing something, or why the hell I've swapped Stavros has swapped voices with somebody in a courtroom where everyone's dressed like cavemen, shit like that. So we would always see as much of it as we could to inform the story. But in terms of watching all 40 episodes, whatever it is, I am not completely up to speed.
42, I think.
42? Yeah, I'm not completely up to speed with all of them, no.
Let's see. Cody says, oh, he has the same ambition I do. He's literally LOL.
Yeah, Cody.
Yeah, he's a stand-up comedian. He's an aspiring actor, so.
Awesome. Keep at it. Go hard.
Paradimish Massacre says, have you watched Go Busters? The Sentai.
Yeah, I have not watched Go Busters, but I'm aware of Go Busters in a big way, and know that they're, the Jax inspiration and all that kind of stuff for this. Yeah.
Yes. So David Ortega says, hey guys, hello. Paradimish is asking, Paradigm Jax, I hate people when they call me cute. Oh, I think he's asking you to say it.
I hate people when they call me cute. That was actually fun. To do that one was really was a little bit of a challenge, because we also make sure that he could be understood. So we probably did it about 20 times. But one of the things was, I hate it when the people call me cute. Start bouncing around in the studio to see how the sound could just turn up. So yeah, that was one of my favorite lines too. But actually, one of my opening lines was my favorite. Hey, it's me, Jax. Right, just because all of a sudden you get to be in this world of overacting with your hands and stuff.
Oh.
Hey, Zoe. Yeah.
One of my good friends, his name is Fox Ranger 310. He says hi. He's
Hello.
asking, can you please say it's morphin time? Activate beast power in your Jax voice. So basically, the morph sequence of Beast Morphers. So
it's morphin time. Activate beast power.
Clever addition.
So Fox Ranger, we saw this. You're welcome. Okay, Steve Duncan. What's it like being a voice actor for a monster?
Well, it can be quite difficult, because trying to pick exactly what sound, this is in the audition process, trying to pick the sound that you need to make to embody the character as much as possible is one element of it. But then, depending on how much that character's in the episode or in the show, you've got to continue doing that. So the more, if your character's kind of like that, you're gonna have to do that with your voice for hours on end to try and replicate that. So playing the character is really fun, but it's quite often a challenge to be consistent with the sound the character needs to make.
Paradimish is asking, do you have any Ranger keys or any toys of Power Rangers?
I do not. We used to when we were kids. Yeah, when I was a kid, we absolutely did. My brother, I've got 4 brothers. The one just older than me had a full size. I'm gonna say he was the green and gold guy.
Green gold guy.
He's probably maybe, but he's still got the toy from back in the day. But I personally don't own any. But we're just talking about Jax's toy. I'm gonna have to get my hands on it.
And
hopefully, when we see you after this pandemic's controlled or over in a con here in LA, Morphicon, if you're watching this,
get it.
He has a toy.
Do it. And I was telling you guys a little bit earlier, just before we started the interview as well, that we've got for Jax on set, he was the only one that was actually a robot. So there was a certain limitation around being able to shoot with him. Not, the other guys are in suits and actors in suits, but he was a remote controlled little robot going around set. So some of the stuff that he was required to do in some scenes had to be pulled back a little bit, just so that they could still do the age-old thing of get their day, which is you've only got a certain amount of hours to shoot a certain amount of stuff in a day. So I'm hoping to have a life-size version of that toy one day when they decide that they no longer want to try and shoot with it.
That'd be cool. Like they just give you the prop.
That'd be incredible. What's that? Oh, no, that's my toy. I'll bring him over here. Yeah, be great.
Yeah, so hopefully, guys. So Ranger Stop, my boss Mikey, you're watching this. He's available.
Get him on it. Did you ever meet Kelson Henderson?
Oh yeah, hell yeah. I know Kelson. Kelson's one of the most sought after actors in New Zealand. Because he doesn't age. No, because he's wonderful. But he's done a lot of voice acting, as you know, on Power Rangers, as well as acted on the show in person. And so a few times in terms of seeing him through Power Rangers, he'd be coming out of the booth as I was going in. So I'd be sitting outside listening to him. Sometimes I'd have no idea it was Kelson because of how different his voice and that voice was. But I know Kelson really well. I respect him so much. I think he's wonderful. And there's a reason they keep bringing him back to Power Rangers.
It's funny, a lot of fans call him the Stanley cameos of Power Rangers. Yep, the Stanley cameos. Yep. He's the Stephen King of Power Rangers. He will turn up all the time. But also, if someone can reliably deliver a job, then that's great. And also the fact that it's got such a fan connection, this show. I mean, I'm sure you guys love that Kelson's in so much. Yeah, I watched it since I was 11 years old. That's how I was.
There you go. Yeah.
I think I've watched since I was 7.
Wait, 10 or 11? Oh, wait, no, yeah, never mind, I was 11. Let's see. Oh, here you go. Whoa, who would you select in your Ranger team?
Who would I select in my Ranger team? Oh man, that's a tough one. I probably don't watch it enough to be able to select a Ranger team, but in terms of the actors that I'd have on my Ranger team, I definitely have Jackie. I love her, and Geordie Weber.
Oh, Golden.
Ooh, yes.
I really love. He was in the season a couple of seasons ago, but he's also a good friend of mine as well in New Zealand. And honestly, I'd have anyone that is good with a sword.
There's some to pick from there.
There you go, samurai. Let's do that.
Okay.
Who would you guys have in your Ranger team?
I mean, I'm a huge Time Force guy, so Time Force.
Catherine Sutherland, SPD Blue, Lost Galaxy Red, Jungle Fury Yellow, and there was a Green Ranger. Lightspeed Green. Yeah, that would be my pick.
That's off the top of your head?
Yeah.
All right.
Wow, you do some research, man.
He's doing that, Ken, so I'll say this. Okay, original Green Ranger, Tommy, because I love Tommy. Red Time Force, because I love Time Force. Purple Dino Charge, because I do love the character of Kendall. I would also say Nate from Beast Morphers, the gold one. I love Nate's character development really well. I love his character development really well in the show. Also, I would say Blue, SPD Blue, and yeah, you need do I have a pink? No, pink. I would select Dino Charge Pink. No, not Dino Charge Pink. What's the name? Samurai Pink.
Cool.
Let's see. Oh, favorite sports team. I kind of think I know what the answer is.
Are you about to say Lakers?
Let's go. Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, I love the Lakers. I have a lot of respect for the Lakers, and when I was living in LA, I watched them a lot. Other favorite teams right now as well is the Louisiana football team from LSU. So really, really big fan. So the character that I was just playing is connected to LSU, and I did a lot of research and discovered a lot through that. So yeah, the Tigers, LSU football team, and also Buffalo Bills, even though they're out of the Super Bowl.
Get out, bye-bye. I'm out.
Yeah, even though they're out, yeah. But I like the Bengals as well, but that was because one of the players on there I was a big fan of. Yeah.
I'm not a sports fan, but my brother did play for the Buffalo Bills, and he also works with the Chiefs, who are currently going to the Super Bowl.
Wait, your brother is in the NFL? You didn't tell me that.
Start with that.
He was he was a long time ago. He's not anymore, but
That's incredible. So what's he doing with the Chiefs now?
He's retired right now. So
Right, but he's working on the team.
no, he's kind of put football behind him right now. So.
Oh, right, okay. So you mean he was part of the team in some way?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Holy shit! What's your brother's name?
Colin Brown.
Colin Brown. Okay, great.
So your brother's a football player? You didn't tell me this?
I sometimes forget to bring things up.
Oh my god!
One of the guys that we just worked with in Young Rock, he played 12 seasons in the NFL, and just so inspired by him. He's also 6'8", so also look up to him a lot.
I did see a lot of tall people. I saw Kobe in person, and I'm like, oh my god, this guy's tall. I forgot that.
Wow. Yeah. I saw him on the court, but not close up. That's awesome.
Yeah, because he was doing a book signing. He actually did sign my book, and then I saw him 4 times in a game, and I saw him in 5 Laker parades. Because like the route where you go to Laker parades was my mom's building. So I figured, oh yeah.
Your mom was in a good spot. You were also saying that they used to film Rangers near hers, right?
Yeah, like there's like a street behind the building.
That's great.
You actually watch the original 10, like not the original 10, like from let's say Lost Galaxy up to let's say Time Force, no Wild Force. They would use that street a lot to film.
Brilliant.
Like explosions stuff. Yeah.
He had the perfect locations for being a Power Ranger fan.
You know, it's funny. My mom's like, so Ryan, because like the thing is, she didn't know I was a Power Ranger.
Yeah.
So she's like, I didn't. It's like, so because like, you watch me watching Wild Force. It's like, wait, I saw those costumes. Like, what I mean, in the back of my street's like, oh my god. So
you had no choice but to be a fan.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's go. Oh, Cody Blight. Who was your inspiration for voice acting and comedy, Emmitt? Mine's Jim Carrey and Andy Kaufman.
Hey, mine's Jim Carrey as well. Andy Kaufman was not an inspiration for comedy, but of course Jim Carrey playing Andy Kaufman was very inspirational for me. But it was really Ace Ventura, I think, that got me into it. I remember watching When Nature Calls on VHS about 50 times and writing down every single quote in there, and then mimicking him to the dislike, let's say, of my family over and over again. But all of our family still quote it. Our family still quote any Adam Sandler film. Just, I guess for us being one of 4 brothers, we were just really into those dudes making complete fools of themselves, and then we did the same thing. So getting into the acting world for me was definitely through the route of comedy as well. So that's pretty awesome. And I love Andy Kaufman early stuff now. Since watching Man on the Moon, I've gone back to see Andy Kaufman's world. So those are good inspirations to have. That's awesome.
Chicago. Just kidding. Chicago.
Oh, go!
I used to do imitations of Jim Carrey as the Mask all the time, and pretty much drove everyone crazy.
Yeah.
Speaking of it, yes.
The Mask and the Cable Guy for me they were so much darker than normal for Jim Carrey stuff. I was like, oh yeah.
Yes,
and of course Mike Myers as well for us. Mike Myers.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
So I Married an Axe Murderer was a big one for us. Obviously Austin Powers was great, but I think slowly Mike Myers and Wayne's World. But slowly, Mike Myers got a little bit more ridiculous as time went on. Gold Member was on at the hotel last night, and I forgot that it was how wacky, let's say, he was. Yeah. You know, when he's trying to urinate into the fountain, and then there's the asparagus next to him. Like, oh yeah, this is almost sketch comedy. This is no longer characters. This is like watching Family Guy, where all of a sudden they just throw 3 ideas together and then it's funny.
Very accurate interpretation of that. Just, you know, since you're a voice actor and since you mentioned Family Guy, did you know Lois Griffin's voice actress was on the show once on Power Rangers?
I did not.
Yeah.
Wow.
She was the voice of one of the main. She voiced a few monsters in the early days too, and then she voiced the main villain in Power Rangers Zeo. So
it's amazing. Who is that? That's not Katie Siegel, is it?
No.
Alex Borstein.
Alex Borstein. That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's cool connection.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. I was a big fan of Family Guy for a long time. I haven't watched it as much since, but just I think Seth MacFarlane is. Equal parts crazy and equal parts genius.
Very much.
You mentioned Adam Sandler, so I actually did meet the guy, and he is an awesome guy. I love the guy so much.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah.
Let's see. Let's do.
And have you seen Uncut Gems with Adam Sandler?
Yes, with Kevin Garnett. That's the one with Kevin Garnett. KG, right? Yes.
So,
That's the one with Kevin Garnett.
It's the one recently, the Safdie brothers.
Oh yes.
Yeah, absolutely different from Happy Gilmore.
Or a big Daddy. He was like, oh.
Yeah, like, completely different character than Bobby Boucher. You know.
Let's see. Paramish Massacre says.
The Water Boy is another great one.
What color
ranger would you be?
Purple and gold. Kidding.
Purple and gold for purple and gold actually. Yeah, let's do that. Both for Lakers and for LSU. Gold.
So you're Clemson. There we go. Let's see Clemson. I forgot Clemson.
No, not Clemson. No. Clemson does have those colors, but no.
What are the orange people? I forgot. Sorry.
Louisiana State University.
Oh, Tigers. There you go. That's what I mean.
Oh, Tigers. Yeah.
There you go. I was mixing those two. Let's see.
What colleges did you guys go to?
Me? I like red. Red Ranger.
Oh, yep. And what about you?
I go red too. Red's my favorite color.
No, not just that. Because my birthstone too. My birthstone's also ruby. So get it? Red.
Yeah, you got it. I like it. Nice.
And it's funny is I'm actually attracted to heroes that actually have the color red. So that's why I love Spider-Man a lot and the Flash. I don't know why.
Yeah, sure, man. Yeah, Deadpool.
Yes. Let's see. Let's do a few more, guys. Have you met Nick Sampson who played the Yellow Mystic Force Ranger?
Nick Sampson. Actually, 100% have I met Nick Sampson. So I was talking about improvisation, doing improv on stage, kind of like Whose Line Is It Anyway? I don't know if that's still around in the States, but we used to do improvisation classes growing up, and when I was about 12 or 13, I met Nick Sampson at one of those. So we've been friends since. I mean, he lives in the UK now, but when he did play the Yellow Ranger, we all knew about it. When he got his toy, we all knew about it. Like, he's wonderful. And one thing that a lot of people probably don't know about Nick is that he's an incredible songwriter too, comedic songwriter, you know, and he's got a real talent for making people laugh through music and song, and obviously through doing stand-up and stuff. So yeah, watching his even during high school, his music, comedy music take off was really, really cool. I won't go into too much detail because he might not want me to, but him and another couple of friends were really, really like, we had the album when we were teenagers and finished it, but just because they were so funny. But I'll let Matt tell you that story another time.
You can fill us in on the details afterwards.
We actually had Nick here, I think last year. Yeah, last year.
We did. Oh, great.
He was funny. He was funny as heck. I loved him.
Fantastic. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for being part of this special interview. thank you, Mr. Skilton, Emmett Skilton, for being our special guest.
Absolutely.
So, Emmitt, where can we find you in social media?
Sure, it's just my name, Emmett Skilton, at pretty much all of those social medias.
Yes. And Kent, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram, brown_K, as well as QR Ranger Book, where I show off this massive scrapbook that I don't have right now. But anyway, where can we find you, Dagger Boy?
Instagram, DancerBoy247. Please follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. And yes, go Lakers. There's a game. I see the comments. There's a game today, so.
There is, yeah.
All right,
Super
guys.
Bowl tomorrow, guys.
Huh?
Super Bowl is on tomorrow.
Yes, I have a bet, so I'm betting on I can't say. Yeah, go Tom. I don't know. I put bet on Tom Brady. I like Mahomes, but I have a feeling he's gonna do it again. I have a feeling.
Brady's unfortunately pretty unbeatable. So
I know. See,
I support your decisions.
see. The last time I bet on him, I lost like $40 against my cousins.
Could be worse.
Massively worse.
Yeah. So I'm going for Mahomes, but I actually bet on Brady. So
Yeah.
hope I'm wrong. But all right, guys. Thank you guys so much, and thank you. This is More Than Ever, and we're going. Bye.
Bye, guys.